Genesis chapter 47. Joseph went to Pharaoh and told him, "My fathers and brothers, along with their flocks and herds and all they possess, have come from Canaan and are now in Goshen." He chose 5 of his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. When Pharaoh asked them, "What is your occupation?" they answered, "We, your humble servants, have tended livestock our entire lives, just as our fathers did." They also said to him, "We have come to live here in Egypt for a while, because the famine is so severe in Canaan that our flocks and herds have no pasture. So please, grant your humble servants permission to live in Goshen." Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am so happy for you that your father and brothers have come to you here in Egypt. You are my governor over all of Egypt. So settle your father and brothers in the land you deemed best for them. Let them live in Goshen if that is what you think is best. And if any of them are competent, skilled and trustworthy, like you, put them in charge of my own livestock." Then Joseph brought his father Jacob in and presented him to Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh then asked him, "How old are you?" Jacob told Pharaoh, "I have travelled the road of life for 130 years, but my life has been filled with hardship and heartache, and my life journey will not be as long as those of my ancestors." Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh once more and left his presence. Joseph gave his family, his father and brothers, the best land in Egypt, settling them in the region of Ramses, just as Pharaoh had directed. Joseph provided everything his father and brothers and their families needed, including plenty of food for every member of his father's household. The famine was so severe that there was no food anywhere in the entire region. The people and animals in both Egypt and Canaan were starving because of the famine. Joseph, by selling the grain, encouraged the people to procure only what they needed. But eventually he collected all the money to be found in Egypt and Canaan, and he secured the money in Pharaoh's palace. With no more money either in Egypt or Canaan, the people came to Joseph and said, "We are starving and have no more money. So please, give us food, or else we will die before your very eyes." Joseph said to them, "Since your money is gone, transfer ownership of your livestock to Pharaoh in exchange for food." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and he gave them food in exchange for their horses, sheep, goats, cattle, and donkeys. In this way Joseph provided them food sufficient for another year. The people came to Joseph the following year and said, "Lord Governor, you know well that we have no money, and all of our livestock now belong to the crown. All we have left is our land and our bodies. Why should we starve to death and our land become desolate when you have food to feed us? Buy us and our land in exchange for food, and we will be Pharaoh's serfs. We will occupy and work Pharaoh's land in exchange for food. So give us grain that we may live and that our land does not become desolate." So Joseph bought all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh. Every Egyptian was forced to sell their land because the famine was too severe for them to survive otherwise, and all the land became Pharaoh's. Thus Joseph made the people across the entire land of Egypt serfs to Pharaoh. However, this did not include the priests. Pharaoh did not buy their land, because they received a regular allotment of food from Pharaoh, sufficient to sustain them. Thus the priests did not sell their land. After buying the land, Joseph set these terms with the people. Now that I have bought you and your land for Pharaoh, here is seed for you to plant and work the land. When the harvest comes, 1/5 will be returned to Pharaoh. The other 4/5 will be yours to use for seed to replant your fields and as food for you and your families." Thankful, the people said, "We have found favor in your eyes, and you have saved our lives, Lord Governor. We will be Pharaoh's serfs." So Joseph made it a law in the land of Egypt that 1/5 of the harvest belongs to Pharaoh. This law remains in effect today. Only the land of the priests did not become Pharaoh's. And so the Israelites settled in Egypt in the region of Goshen. They prospered, acquired land, flourished, and greatly increased in number. Jacob lived another 17 years after moving to Egypt. He lived to be 147 years old. When Israel's death drew near, he called for his son Joseph and said to him, "If you honor me as your father, place your hand beneath my upper thigh, and thereby symbolically place yourself under the witness of my future descendants, and promise me that you will love me and act kindly to me in this: do not bury me in Egypt. But when I sleep in death with my fathers, carry me out of Egypt and bury me where they are buried." "I will do as you have said," Joseph replied. But Jacob said, "Swear a sacred oath to me that you will do it." So Joseph swore a sacred oath, promising his father that he would do as he said. Relieved, Israel bowed his head in thanks to the Lord while leaning on the top of his staff.